Hi, Tristan. Really nice to meet you.
Hello.
Could you just introduce yourself for the listeners and the viewers?
Sure. My name is Tristan Smith. I'm a researcher and an academic at University College London, and I'm also director of the University Marine Advisory Services, a consultancy specialised at shipping industry, greenhouse gas and air pollution emissions.
Great. Certainly part of that is going to involve leadership, and obviously that's the discussion we're having today. So why do you think that's an important thing to be talking about in the maritime sector?
Well, I think all sectors, and so therefore also maritime, need leadership because they're constantly changing and evolving. But what's particularly interesting about shipping and maritime at this point in its history is it's about to go into this extraordinary period of turbulence and change. In fact, it's already going into it. And the main lens that we look at from that perspective is greenhouse gas emissions, because we know the sector is going to have to move off fossil fuels in the next 2 to 3 decades maximum. And as that happens, its fundamental source of energy is going to change, the design of the ships are going to change, the way they're operated will change. All of that needs leadership, it needs vision, it needs very considered management of risks and opportunities. And those are skills which are crucial if the sector is going to navigate that efficiently and survive as it should to continue to be the great enabler of world trade that it is today.
I need some new thinking, maybe some fresh ideas, and part of that will come through a new leadership process. Or do we have to throw out the baby with the bathwater? Do we have something we can work on, or do we need to really create a new model for leadership in maritime?
I think we have to build on what we have, and that's because we have to move very fast. We can't just go through a massive amount of navel gazing and restructuring. But there's also lots of advantage in the way that shipping works today. It's actually a very innovative and versatile industry. Every ship that we build is more or less a prototype. The mindset that the owners and the managers and the financiers have is one of managing to very volatile markets. And so as we go into change, that shouldn't be something we're scared of. What it needs is open-mindedness about the fact that we are in a change process, that there's regulation, technology change coming, and some anticipation of what that might look like. But people have managed that in the past. So I don't have any concern that we can't manage it in the future.
So you're from academia. I'm just wondering if there's more that academics can do to support leadership change or that shift, or more that governments could do, or both, that can help us on this journey.
Well, I think academics have a responsibility to make what they're studying and thinking about accessible, and to make sure that they do their share of helping it to be communicated. And that can't be something they do on their own. They have to work in partnership with people who write much more readable English and who can get messages out through whatever means of communication. So one of the reasons why we have been very active as a group is because we do feel that there's information that we're privy to in climate science, in the technology and transition space that is being studied and thought about, because there's loads of good track records and history of that in other sectors of the economy that shipping could learn from, and in the sort of understanding of the technology and economic drivers as well as policy that might come into play over coming decades. So we think about all of those things and try and see if we can make those subjects more accessible. But we also learn an enormous amount by doing that, because it's a two-way conversation. So certainly academia should see this as an opportunity to understand the sector more, so that it can produce more meaningful research, as well as enabling that research to be accessed and made more manageable for others to use. Governments have a role as well. I think the crucial role for governments at this point in time is to stimulate with some incentives some of the pilots, some of the trials, some of the R&D that we desperately need in the sector to cope with the policy and regulatory challenges that come, but also to look at the skills base and to see the maritime sector and shipping as a real opportunity to invest in, given its crucial role to any government in some ways, but certainly island nation governments.
So it's a team sport. We're in this together, and we need to power ahead together.
I think so, and the collaboration between stakeholders is crucial. I think seeing us all as our separate silos like government, academia and owners is not helpful. It's something that we can spend a lot more time thinking about collectively. What we need is the forums, the mechanisms to do that thinking, and what's promising is that under themes we start to see those forums exist. So the Global Maritime Forum's arrival in the shipping industry to try and create something like the World Economic Forum but specialised around shipping is a good sign that some of those multi-stakeholder conversations are starting. What the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers is doing as well shows how bringing lots of different perspectives together from different countries, from different disciplines and from different professional skills can be very crucial for making rounded discussions possible and solutions achievable.
Great, so good dialogue and there's hope for the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.